Okay. Hey everybody, live and back again with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I am working on Michelangelo today. This will be the third of the four in the series. Let's see here. Just getting a couple of people situated and getting my lead reloaded here so we can get this going. Let's see. Here we go. Sorry about that. Now I'll get right into this thing. Michelangelo is a fun one because of the fact that he's the youngest of the turtles, as well as the most charismatic, because he's less violent than most of them. Even when he's upset, he's still more mischievous and snarky rather than an absolute focused warrior of sorts. But he can get angry. I've seen in the comics that, he can get nasty. He's probably the one right after Leonardo in the series that anybody would want to confront. He would be the second runner-up. A lot of people think that the Raphael character's the most vicious, and he probably is, but he's not the most tactical. So Michelangelo is much more tactical because of the fact that he has to keep up with his brothers. And this character, right after Leonardo, this character's just gangbusters, my favorite. Absolutely. Just runs amok. And I love every second of it. When I was younger, and these were as comics before the cartoons, he was probably my favorite, even over Leonardo at the time, because of the fact that he was the closest in age to me whenever the books came out. And I'm talking the original black and white comics, back when they were underground. Nobody knew who they were and whatnot, and they became a series before they became a cartoon series before anybody really got any recognition to them. So if you figured out who the Ninja Turtles were by the cartoon series, you missed out a lot of stuff. I know I've been saying this all week, but if you can, go find those books and check them out, because you're missing out on a lot of good stories. Pardon the pun, because they're black and white comics, but it's not as black and white as a story as most people would think. So I'm keeping his brow wide open here because of the fact that he doesn't crunch it down. He gets more, if you want to get in my face kind of thing, then let's do this kind of deal, rather than getting angry about it. He's like, you want to scrap? Okay, let's do this. And that's what most people get in tune with this character for, because of the fact that he's not as aggressive as a couple of the other turtles are. It's a great character. I love drawing these guys. It's been a while, since I have drawn any of them. But when I was younger, I used to draw them all the time. But since my style's evolved and I got quote-unquote professional status, as far as that can go, that's when everything changed and I stopped drawing that kind of stuff. But this dude is coming off really clean, really quick. Just going to keep knocking him out here. And just in case you didn't get to see the other two cards, I'll show those in just a second, so we can see this set together. because I'm not sure what I'm going to do with these 4 yet. They are in the same card line that I've been doing for the last 90 days or so. And I will be doing something special with this set. I don't know what it is yet, but these particular cards, I'm thinking about helping out a charity with them, because I just got a great offer on them. And I've got 3 or 4 people asking me about them, and I haven't said yes to an answer yet, or to a bid yet. And I'm not here to try and push these on you guys and that kind of stuff. I'm just interested. If you want to offer, awesome. Let's see where we're at. I am doing commissions, and we'll see where that goes if you don't get the one that you want. But yeah, I'm thinking highly about stepping in and offering these up for a charity purpose. These particular 4, I've been getting asked about them a lot. And for all you guys that have been following Jim O'Reilly and myself and a couple of the other guys that are doing a lot of lives lately, we're friends. We help each other out, kind of thing, and say, hey, here's a project to check out. We've been working with the comic book covers for Cancer with John Rogers, and I tell you what, that service is awesome. I love to plug those guys because, as many of you know, I lost my sister a couple of years ago to cancer, and she was way too young to be doing that and having to deal with that kind of stuff. And, anybody that goes through that, I just totally understand. But anyway, not getting on a soapbox, not having, a Jerry Lewis moment or anything like that. It's just where my brain went at the moment. But I've been doing a lot of marketing stuff early today, and then a lot of page work from my comics and stuff. So I'm all over the map right now as far as where I'm going with stuff. But this, I've been waiting all day to get this guy. I am getting really solid feedback from people that are seeing the cards, and I appreciate all the support. Thank you very much. And keep it coming. And be sure and join up on my fan page when it goes live this week, because going to be moving these over off the Facebook profile. Facebook's going to be making some updates and stuff, and things are going to change and whatnot. And I want to make sure that everybody gets to follow me and all that, and move over to the Facebook page like it's supposed to be and whatnot, because they're talking about making profile changes and making some other changes to the lives to where you can talk with family and friends and stuff, but you may not be able to do lives like, for artistic expression or experimentation like we have been with all these artists and stuff. And I follow that stuff very closely and keep everybody abreast of it. And that's their big recommendation right now is move it over to an art page, move it over to a fan page. So which is fine, because these profiles are very limiting as far as these lives go, and I love to reach out to you guys and get the questions and all that. And the reason I'm drawing that bent right there is on purpose. I'm drawing that recap like he's lost it and put it back on, kind of thing. So if you're wondering why that, that's not straight, well, that's why. I like to put weathering and wear and tear on the guys, so that on the characters I draw, so that they look a little bit more natural. I wouldn't dare say realistic, because it's a turtle, but you never know what's out there with these days, medicine these days, and these kooks out there doing stuff. So, but for every good doctor, we have one playing Frankenstein somewhere. But that could be the one that saves your life. So whatever. But I digress. So, moving on. And I like the way their fingers go because they don't have, they really don't have fingers per se. It's like their toes mutated and grew out rather than having realistic fingers. They've got these big, flat, knobby things sticking out of them there. And I love that effect because it gives a great dynamic to their hands. It's like drawing Ben Grimm, you know. It's got the big merged fingers and whatnot. So it's a very cool aesthetic. All right, I'm going to pop in his shell here. Get some more of that going on. Kind of scribble that around a little bit because he's got scratches and stuff, you know, from his training because he's the youngest, so he gets thumped around a little bit. Going to draw the head of this nunchuck here, which I have a few pair of these as well. And, you know, if you ever get the opportunity to use these things, stay away from them. I have a metal pair called Stingers, and had them for years. Love using nunchucks. They're great, but you will bean yourself many, many times before you ever get to master the point of using them in a practical sense. So if you're fooling around with this kind of stuff, don't do it. Make sure you're in company of someone that knows what they're doing so they can show you how to use them properly. I had that, thank goodness. But yeah. And I know a lot of you are going to be going, those chains are too thick for nunchucks for the fellow martial artists out there. I know that's going to happen, but that's okay. Yes, I know they're thick, but the thing is it's Turtle. You know that all their weapons are thick. So give me a little grief if you want to, but that's fine because I'm going to take it with a grain of salt because of the fact that, you know, one, it's my drawing. No. On a serious note, their weapons are larger. So. Okay. I'll put in this ribbing here. I don't know why, but it's finer on one side and thicker on the other. I don't know what the deal is with that, why it was that pattern that way, but it is. So therefore, we have it that way. But this dude is awesome. He's very cool. I'm going to put his like he just jumped down out of somewhere and is going to scare somebody. Like that. And then we'll put this trim of it like that. Okay. Have it come down around this way. Buckle back that way. Like that. Okay. Now we've got his mask tags. Look up here and check the monitor. Hey! Tom, you made it, man. Awesome. No? Surprise, surprise, man. Thanks very much. Glad you made it. there's Mr. Jim. Thank you for sharing, buddy. I appreciate it, man. I know that's a big deal because you're so busy and whatnot with your cards. So appreciate that. See, I like keeping Leonardo straight lined. Raphael's always angry, so he's a little more distressed and rough looking because he's always in trouble. And then you have Michelangelo looking just like the devil, just like he's going to get in all kinds of trouble. He does. He just looks like he's going to get into all kinds of trouble. Now, when you're drawing this guy, understand that Michelangelo has something surprising that the others don't. And it's a little thing that you have to catch, and a lot of people don't realize this. Check this one out. Where the rest of them are elbows, wraps, and knee wraps, he actually wears sports gear because he's a skater. So when you draw him, be sure to put those elbow pads on there, because if you don't, the elbow pads and the knee pads, because if you don't, he'll look out of character. Because every time you look at him and whenever you're researching him, check it out, because he'll always have the knee pads and the elbow pads on. Just a little tidbit for you. Mapping out the rest of this shell if you see me moving my hand here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in and notch this. Because they have these little notches on that rim for their shell, but it doesn't go anywhere else. It just notches right there and right there, like that. And as you go down the side, you'll see the segments clear. So you got to, kind of carve those out. Don't chintz out on them because it'll look funky. And now right back here, I'm going to put the edge of that back and put that shell separator right there. Just so you have a little bit of a rise out of it and it looks like the shell's attached. Okay? Done deal. Now, I'm going to go down in here and get these big knuckles, because this dude's got heavy-duty knuckles unlike any of the rest of them. I think that has to do partially with the type of turtle he is. Which I tried to track down what kind he is before I went live, but I could not do so. I was unsuccessful in finding out which turtle species that Michelangelo is. So that's why he looks kind of generic or generalized, and I'm okay with that too, but I'll get my big hands out of the way in just a second, guys. I've got to get this knee pad in place, and I want to make sure that the card's not going to buckle, because that wouldn't be fun. So, all right, now I'm going to draw in a little bit of this forearm down here, because it wraps around right there. I want to make sure that it goes in proper. And now I'm going to draw in this other thigh. And we have the other knee pad going right on the freaking corner of the card. I do not know why I did that to myself. I just don't. So, with that said, I'm going to spin this around and do the ribbons. Block that in a little bit. Oh, I got a question right before I went on. What am I doing today, and what am I working on? So I can't show what I'm actually working on right now, but what I can do is give you guys something else that I'm working on as a side note for that right off the bat, so I can show that a little bit and give you guys a sneak peek at that, because it's a practice page. And I showed where I started it, and I've been working on it in the background, in Intrium of my regular work, and I've only got about 4.5 hours tied into it right now, which normally it takes about 8 to 10 hours for a page. For slow artists, for regular average artists that want to pour in heart and soul into their pages for professional work, normally it's about an 8 to 10 hour range for a page. And I know a lot of guys will say, well, I draw faster than that, because, you know, some of us do. And I have no problem with that, because I'm faster than that too. But, you know, the league standard, like Todd McFarlane, you know, and all the guys like that, the classic guys, Jim Lee, which is one of the faster guys in the business, he says that, you know, 8 to 10 hours a page minimum. So what I've got for you here is I'm going to show a little bit of this practice page that I wrote the script for. No big deal. Just a 1-page off study piece. And it is of Supergirl fighting some aliens in space kind of thing. And I've got it colored. I've got it penciled, inked, colored, and fully processed here. It's a work in progress. It is not done yet. As you can see, the tongue's not colored out. You know, the teeth aren't. This is just a practice page. So you got a glimpse of what I'm working on. I've got about maybe 4.5 hours tied into it from start to finish to present right now, and I'll have about maybe 6 hours into it when I'm done, because I figure I'm going to layer that out and fully render the color and all that. So everything's in there, and it's like it's supposed to be. But hey, Alfred, I appreciate the comments, man. Yeah, see, I did that same thing. I used to draw stuff like that in school all the time. I used to get kicked out of art class all the time. They were always kicking me out of art class. I went looking for his thumb there and noticed I didn't draw it in, so now I've got to put it in there. Shame on me. But it was originally off panel when I did it, but I want it to be there because it looks like it should be. So there we have the thumb on the back side, because this one's hand up, that one's hand down. But yeah. They all have little scars on them from being whacked on each other. They keep cracking each other and whatnot, and the foot's messed with them for all these years. And Michelangelo has these weird little things on his face. Some people put them up as little growths or tines, you know, growing off of him out of his skin. But I like to draw them like they were in the original series as freckles. That's what Michelangelo called them when he was asked about them. He has freckles, which are actually spots on the turtle. No big deal. But it gives him a little more distinguishing character, and I like it because it makes him look more like a kid. So I really dig that look. And there we have it, guys. I'm going to leave it alone at that. I don't want to over-render it because I'm going to color it up. So there you go. That is number 3. We have Leonardo right there. We have Raphael right there. And finally, we have Michelangelo. Tomorrow will be Donatello, and Friday will be a big different change. It will be back to DC stuff for a bit, a day or two at least. it will be Hawkman. That is going to be a prize winner for me. I love that character. And like I said the other day, I hadn't had a chance to draw him in a long time, if at all. So I'm going to get that going. And thank you guys for hanging out with me as always. Remember, this week I'm going to put a post on my timeline for the card. If you don't follow me, please do, so that I can give you that notice and you can catch up on the videos coming up every day, as well as the fan page to come, because the Art of Brad Linder is going live, as well as creating comics for this series. And then finally, I have my regular business page, which you guys can check out for other stuff, training and stuff like that, which I'll be posting about as well. But anyway, like I said, check it out. Thanks. Later.